What's your story? What's your sign? It's like we're twin flames in a different life. Deep connection lights a spark. It's like you know me in the depths of my heart. We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're living like this could be a final day. We're dreamers. Don't care what the others say. We're doing this in our way. We come alive in the nighttime. There's something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. We come alive. We come alive. What's your weakness? What's your type? Somehow I wanna know all about you. Deep connection lights a spark. You already know me when we dance in the dark. We're dreamers. We're living. We're dreamers. We're doing this in our way. We come alive in the nighttime. There's something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. Oh, oh, we come alive. We come alive. Oh, we come alive. Tell me that you want me. I can see you want me by the look in your eyes. Tell me that you want me. I can see you want me by the look in your eyes. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive in the nighttime. There's something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive.
Hello everyone. Hello. Welcome to Thursday's podcast, everyone. Today's going to be more of just a quick lunch break, just a few quick updates. Sure, most of you have heard the news by now. However, let's not forget that until he has been to see Betty, he technically has not fully resigned. So let's just remember that. So he needs to get his ass down to Windsor or Sarandon or wherever the hell she is, and resign officially to Betty. So yeah, it's been the he stood outside of number 10 at about 12:30 this afternoon and gave his little speech. However, from the sounds of it, he's going to drag it on. Like, he hasn't said, I'm stepping down and I'm stepping down immediately. It's like, I'm stepping down and we're going to do a process. And he could actually still be in office for a good few months, depending on how this process goes. So it's not like dude is packing his bags this afternoon and getting out, which is what he should do. Anyway, we'll get into all of that in a sec. Good afternoon to everyone joining. Wilson, Boris touched not my anointed, for he did not only silently approve the abuse of a British citizen, but as head of government stayed quiet. Karma is right around the corner. Indeed. Well, actually, I wish I could say karma was around the corner, but with these things, they take the heat, they go away silently, and then they end up with some top corporate job somewhere from one of their friends much later. And I'm sure he'll write a book or something like that. So I'd love to say, oh, karma's coming for him, but I doubt it. Not unless not unless the British public really do grow some balls for once and push back. But we know that that's not going to happen either. Hello, Gwendolyn. Hope you're doing well as well. Hi, Annie Bullard. Hi, Verda. Karen M. Hi, Denise. Morning to you. Hi, Kay Castillo. Hi, Joan Commonwealth. Miranda. Hello. Hi, Denise. Hi, Lydia. Chosen to be his. Hi, Dina. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Reba. Alrighty. Let's get into it. Where are my slides? Okay, well, let's start with a couple of other things as we usually do. So, Piss Moron continues to tank in his TV ratings. I mean, pretty much the lowest out of all of the big stations. Now 66,000 isn't terrible in itself. It's terrible when you've spent almost £100 million to push your show, which is what Murdoch did. He spent that much money. And this is the best that Piss Moron can do. He continues to revert to typical triggering talking points and has just continues to prove that he really doesn't have anything to offer beyond just outrage type of topics. So shouldn't be too long before he goes. I mean, I thought that he was going to go off and start interviewing serial killers and be amongst his kind, but it would appear that he's still here. So I'm sure he'll get the boot at some point because I don't know how much longer this embarrassment can last. But guess who's going up the ranks? Lily tops the 100 girl names for 2022 so far. And also Archie comes in at number 21. Harry is at number 13. And Henry is at number 17. So Harry, Henry, Archie, and Lily proving to be very popular names for reasons obvious. And I think this is probably one of the first times in a long time I haven't seen the other Royal Children's names in the charts, but that just could be because those kids are a bit more grown up at this point. Hello, Kennetha. Good afternoon from London. How you doing in London, dear? I swear, it feels like nobody's at the wheel. Like, I'm so terrified that we're going to have a terrorist attack or something because nobody's at the wheel. I found this picture circulating around circulating around Twitter. I mean, just look at Harry's face. He's just like, no, bro, I do not want a hug from you. No, thank you very much. I don't want to catch the stench of failure. But yeah, as Catherine Phillip pointed out, if Boris hasn't been to see the Queen, he hasn't actually resigned because we are still a constitutional monarchy, so he has to do that. And also, some other good news, if I can find it. The Nigerian team, Invictus Nigeria, held a flag handover ceremony at the defense headquarters in Abuja to officially declare Nigeria ready and willing to be part of the Invictus community of nations. So well done to Nigeria. Nice to see some African teams joining Invictus, and it's shaping up to be a wonderful games. And don't forget also that volunteer slots for Invictus are opening in a few days, or rather the initial application process for volunteering is opening in a few days. So I will definitely remind you about that when that happens. And also, before I get into just a couple of the more negative things today, I did want us to take stock of all of the great things that have happened so far, because it's been a while now since Harry and Meghan stepped down, and sometimes it's very easy in the negativity to forget that we've done a lot as a squad, them as a couple, and there's so much more to come. This is just the beginning, and I just want to remind everybody of that. This is just the beginning, and look at what they have done just at their beginning. You know, they've done more than what a lot of people will do in a decade. And this is what scares the fan. This is what scares the detractors. So yeah, we do have a Netflix, and Netflix are having a few troubles right now. But I have heard that they're taking meetings to start implementing ads. So hopefully that should help save the platform. But regardless, Archer Productions can always go elsewhere, or even get independent funding. And then Spotify got Archetypes coming up. Let's not forget that Harry and Meghan also signed up to the Henry Walker Agency, which is now actually part of the WME Group, which is one of the largest agencies, talent agencies in Hollywood. It's basically WME and CAA, basically run everything. So a lot of connections just through there. But of course, as we know, everybody's going to be wanting to work with them. There was a trip to New York. Harry's with BetterUp. Their investment relations with Ethic. 40 times 40 was a hit. Fixing the roof for the Texas shelter, women's shelter. And also the squad chipped in and bought the women's shelter pretty much everything they needed on their Amazon wish list. Meghan's The Bench, which has now been translated into numerous languages. I lose count, but somebody did do a collage of all of the languages it's been translated into, and I'm sure if Meghan's written one book, children's book, she's probably planning on writing more. And also Harry and Meghan's contribution to the Christmas parade in their local area in Montecito, and that looks like it's now going to be an annual thing. And there's so many other things that I'm sure that I'm missing out, but let's just always take a moment to remember this, guys and dolls, that there's a lot that we've done, and there's a lot that's coming. And when we see and hear the saltiness on this island, just remember this image that I'm showing you now, and remember why they're as salty as they are. Remember why they are so desperate to continue this smear campaign, and unfortunately even put the Sussexes and their families' life at risk. Is jealousy, and we'll get into that and into the security matter in a moment. Let's just go to your comments first. Church Lily, I'm so looking forward to Archetypes. So am I. It needs to drop like today. Sylvia, thank you for highlighting the Sussex family success. Yes, we need to remember this sometimes, that this is why they continue to freak out. This is why we've got people here with their fake PDA at polo matches cosplaying Charles and Diana, cosplaying other people. I'm not going to show the picture because I don't really want to, but I'm sure most of you have probably seen it by now. The other two kissing at the polo match all of a sudden, literally wearing the exact same outfits that Diana and Charles are wearing. Not an original bone in their bodies. Catherine, Harry and Meghan are a powerhouse couple. I think Harry and Meghan will be doing more live talks in the fall. Yeah, I'm sure there will be live talks and actual in-person talks. Getting those Henry Walker Agency bookings done. Rahini, I'm close to starting a protest. We want archetypes now. Oh, Rahini, I think I missed your comment yesterday. You were asking about my book. Yes, it is on Kindle. It is 100% on Kindle. In fact, I think it's like $1.20 on Kindle at the moment. Hope Paul, thanks for going over the positive stuff H&M has done during a pandemic. Yeah, and this is the thing. They did all of this during the pandemic, right? So now the world is opening up. I mean, I saw a list that was going around on Twitter earlier today. I think almost 60 countries, might be a little bit more now actually, are open without any restrictions at all. And then a whole bunch of others with minimal restrictions. So there's very few countries now that actually have any kind of restrictions at all. So the world is open, uh, and there's nothing really stopping Harry and Meghan now from going full speed ahead with what they want to do. Let's see. Sonia, it's so refreshing to hear the achievements of the Sussexes. Yes, we must remind ourselves of them all the time. Really? Oh, you bought it from Kindle? No, you will not get lost. And do you know what? Getting lost sometimes is the best part of the adventure. When you get lost is when the adventure begins, my friend. Happy travels. Kenneth, I'm looking forward to hearing from Meghan for her birthday. My gosh, the year is going so quickly that we're already talking about Meghan and Harry's birthday. Oh, that's so true. Do you think actually they're going to drag it out and then it will launch on her birthday, Archetypes? I hope it launches before that. Yes, Karen M. Just think of all the things that they've done that they haven't mentioned. Yes, because we know they do a lot of things in quiet. All right. So, moving on from that, um, yes, Bojo did indeed give his speech at 12:30 today, and look at the staffers. Just look at that. I mean, does that literally just not look like the same situation at KP, albeit with a lot more men. At least KP has a lot more women, I think, but pretty much the same demographic. Like literally one East Asian in the middle. And this is part of the problem because you've got people from very privileged backgrounds who are just running the country. And if you're a working class person, um, or or a person of color, it's very difficult to get into these top government positions because they just want yes men and women who look like them, who they can go to the cigar lounge with. And this is part of the reason why the country is just a shambles. Ahoy, I said it again, London Bridge is falling down. God do not like ugly. I don't think London Bridge is falling down just yet, but pretty much everything else in London and the UK is falling down. London Bridge might be the only thing standing at this point. Um, Cian Adams, you are not late. You are never late. Cinderella, does that man own a comb? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I've actually heard someone suggest that his scruffy performance is actually relatable to some people. I don't know who these people are because goodness forbid a female politician or female prime minister walked around looking as disheveled as he did. Can you imagine if Theresa May was walking around as disheveled as he looked? I think people would have something to say about it. Church Slowly, yes, Meghan wrote a book about her freckles. I hope she writes another one about her freckles. Or she just like brings back that book and tries to redraw it herself. That would be interesting. Kim, I have to say, I'm in New York and I was glued to Sky News all day yesterday. All the MPs continue to run. What a mess. Yeah, I think it was like something up to 50 50 people in the end? Truly embarrassing. They're not embarrassed. This is really embarrassing. All right. So that's that. And yeah, because we're feeling petty today, Rachel Johnson, Boris's sister, once upon a time wrote this. Sorry, Harry, but your beautiful bolter has failed my mum test. Well, Rachel, your brother has just failed the test of life. Mind you, Boris Johnson really only wanted to become prime minister, I feel, because of some petty rivalry he had with the former Conservative Prime Minister, David Cameron, going all the way back to their Eton days. Eton, that privileged school that all the toffs go to. So I don't think he ever wanted to become Prime Minister to actually do good by the United Kingdom. He's a puppet to his donors, a puppet to Murdoch and Rothermere, and just a petty man who wanted to prove that he could be Prime Minister to his old Etonian school friends. And that's why we have the mess that we have right now, because this man never intended to do well by the UK. My point of view, I had a deranged chatting crap about Meghan's podcast. I just told them if Meghan chose to read a telephone book, I would listen. I would listen too, and we don't have to worry about what derangers say, because they're just here to hate. Mm. Church Nelly, the woman he had the women he had kids with, obviously didn't own a mirror or self-esteem. Well, I think women like that, they don't care about how the man looks. They care about the position he has and the money he has. That's what they care about. Which is weird to me, because you can find a man who is high status and has a lot of wealth and is still a good man. I don't see an issue with you wanting to marry for money or wealth. You do you, but you can still find um, a man who has status and wealth who is a good man. Not someone like BoJo, but I think for them, um, we know that class and status is very important. So even if he is going to go down as one of the worst prime ministers in British history, he was still a British prime minister, and that's what they care about. They don't care about anything else. Oh, just give me a sec, guys and dolls. The computer seems to have frozen. Okay. Kim, my kids call him the UK Trump. Well, pretty much, yeah, the closest thing you can get, right? Um, Boney, he don't need comb, he needs some gel. I feel like the gel would just make his hair look flat and horrid. Um, Kim, yes, I did read about the rivalry with Cameron. Yes, that's really what it was about. Reba, how does Rachel Johnson have any standing to criticize Meghan as a mom? STFU, indeed, and she's also the one that said that Meghan had Meghan's exotic DNA would thicken the royal blood, and then when she was questioned about it in that BBC documentary, she tried to write it off by saying like, "Oh, I was just mentioning the facts that um, Meghan's very tanned and the royal family is very pale," and that's how she basically tried to excuse what she said. And she also admitted that in that same documentary that writing nasty things about Meghan is what sold. So yeah, she can STFU for sure. Personally, I don't give a happy damn about money. I'm not effing ugly, Lord, no. I mean, here's the thing, right? If you have as much money as Boris Johnson does, then he definitely has no excuse to look like that. Like, you can hire a stylist, bro. Um, The Queen didn't like Margaret Thatcher. They had a bit of a shaky relationship, yes, but I think it got better towards the end of Thatcher's reign. Karen M, I would rather be kissed by a man that loves me than get a peck by a man that dislikes me and shows it to the world. How sad. Wait, karma is catching up to the lies. Yeah, and I honestly feel like the only reason he married Kerry was because he didn't want to be a conservative prime minister baby daddy. That was a very bad look. Because how are you going to be a baby daddy when you're the prime minister and head of the Tory party? Okay, and what else did I want to mention? Oh yeah, some interesting commentary from the Twitterverse. This joke that someone posted by Evan Washington pretty much just sums up UK politics. So they said, every time I hear about UK current events, it's incomprehensibly bonkers. It's always like Secretary of Finance Lord Billy Frampton is under fire for allegedly eating toffee. And every British person commenting on it is like 4 layers of irony deep and shit posting like no tomorrow. They're posting like, salute to Sir Toffee Frampton, an utter disgrace and love of my life. That is literally it, right? That is literally it. And as someone else pointed out, awful lot of people who spent the last 3 years in the sewer suddenly taking issue with the smell. Exactly. And somebody else mentioned Jeremy Corbyn there warning about Boris. And the country could have been so much different, I think, with Corbyn. But I think that we never shook the stench of Tony Blair's New Labour. So people didn't want Corbyn, unfortunately. Lottie G, you can't fix ugly. No, you can't. Ugly on the inside and the outside. Dory, he still has 7 others. Children, yes. But those are just the ones that we know of, mind you. We don't know so much about his other secret messages, which I believe that he does have. And as a couple of people have pointed out in regards to Her Majesty, Pagan saying, if the pointlessness of a member of the royal family acting as head of state isn't... Oh, gosh. Sorry, that was Twitter Spaces. Sorry, back to what Pagan was saying. If the pointlessness of a member of the royal family acting as head of state isn't obvious to people by now, it never will be. Let them be tourism ambassadors, since that's what people claim they're good for. But remove them from the political system where they're a hindrance, not a help. Yes, and if the Queen was meant to do anything, she was meant to end the tyranny of the last 2 to 3 years. And as Republic said, people who now trivialize the monarchy, or think somehow the monarchy is one of the strengths of our constitution, or who think the Queen might now have a role to play, you are clearly not understanding the problem here. The point of a head of state is to guard the constitution and ensure the rules are followed. One of those rules is that the PM has the confidence of the Commons, which Johnson no longer has. An effective and accountable elected head of state could make it very clear what the rules are and insist Johnson demonstrate he has that. And the Queen has not. Because really, the truth about the monarchy and the monarch is that it is there and he or she is there to uphold the British class system. That's it. There's no other reason. And that's been proven by the fact that the Tory party have run amok in this country. There's nobody at the wheel. Cindy, what type of mum test does the racist have? Probably something I wouldn't want to know about. Lily Bell, last week, all that nonsense about Harry being unhappy and that he's isolated, but he was in Wyoming. Yes. I mean, every so often they just pull out the same stories and rehash them because they have nothing else. All right. And so on to the last thing that I wanted to mention, Harry's security. So the situation went back to court. Victoria Ward wrote quite a good mini thread basically summarizing it. She said Prince Harry has argued that the government committee decision on his secretary was not independent as it was made with the involvement of members of the royal household, including the Queen's private secretary, with whom there were significant tensions. Those on the committee at the time, including the Queen's private secretary, Sir Edward Young, her assistant private secretary, and the master of Prince Charles's household. Harry suggests representations he made to the royal household were not fully communicated to the committee. He suggests he could have been told members of the royal household were involved in the decision making and been allowed to make representations, including whether it was appropriate for them to have been involved. He argues that government policy allows for state security to be provided to all within the immediate line of succession, and that the policy has been applied in an overly rigid manner, as he was excluded from that scope. And that individual in question was this guy, if I can find the picture. Yeah, Sir Edward Young, seen here with Prince Michael of Kent, who's the husband of that racist bat, Princess Michael of Kent. He's also seen here with BoJo, and he is indeed the private secretary to the Queen, installed by Prince Charles back in 2014. And this is the guy who was on the panel which denied security to Harry and relayed incorrect information to the Home Office. And then that incorrect information was also leaked to the press. So I think that the men in grey, the vipers in grey, this is just an example of the fact that they just hold too much power. And it's like they're just running amok in this institution now. I think they're probably at the center of a lot of the tensions within the royal households. And it really just says a lot about this institution that you now have people like this who seem to have more say almost than the actual monarch herself. What is going on inside of this institution that these grey vipers, grey suit wearing vipers, have more of a say? Because this is just not how, this is just not how things should be running at all. Do comments. Ruth, 11 summers of polo. No one meant to be excited by fake affection. Well, the derangers, I'm sure, will be very excited about it, even though I thought 5 minutes ago PDA wasn't nice and we looked down upon PDA. Rahini, the Tories, the tabloids, and the monarch depend on each other. Indeed, it's a revolving door of corruption. Pamela, 7 legitimate and many more illegitimate children reported due to the court injunction he took against their identity being revealed. Oh, wow. I didn't even know about that. Gwendolyn, these vipers are losing their minds, and they should be, because they continue to think that they can run around here dictating the narrative. Not anymore. One thing they can't control is our platforms, and there's too many of us in the squad now. Rahini, I wish someone would do a deep dive as to how these men in grey have so much power. Yeah, I want someone to do a deep dive into that as well. It really is a mystery, and it seems like it's been this way for some time, even going back to the Diana years. Why did nobody put these people in check? How did we get to this point? see, and Adam, he looks like a penguin from Gotham. He literally does. And yes, Harry did say that they were trapped by these people. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the one that broke Meghan's dog's legs. And yes, Sylvia, Harry did say that he was concerned about who surrounded his grandmother, and it's people like this. All right. Almost done with your comments, and then we'll call it a day. Sheila James, you think that Young is doing Charles's bidding with the agreement of Queenie and Willie Leaks? I'm not so sure about the Queen, but Willie Leaks and Charles, I think so. Sylvia, will Simon Case be at the job when the PM leaves? I don't know. I guess we'll just wait and see. Sheila, the grey suits are mostly aristocrats protecting the establishment interests. It would appear so, but they're doing a very bad job at this point of protecting the establishment's interests. They're like a fax machine working in a WhatsApp world. All right, and what else did I want to mention? Yeah, there wasn't really anything else, so I'll just end with your comments. There was this funny moment on BBC. I don't know if anyone's seen this, but a BBC reporter literally had had his feet up. He was probably scrolling through Twitter like the rest of us, waiting for Priti Patel's resignation. And the camera cut to him, and his feet were on the table, and he quickly put his feet down when he realized. But this guy was just all of us. Ocean Sunflower, I've been saying the Queen doesn't have total power. Well, I think her time to nip things in the bud is well gone, and this is probably why Harry was concerned. Alrighty, who's going to give us the last word of the day? I see an Adam. Someone broke the dog's legs. Yes, it's a mystery. Marilyn Matthews. I wonder what Harry does think when he sees William's performances for the camera. Probably just like, what are you doing, bro? And I do believe that in Harry's book, Church Nelly, to touch on your comment, I think that he will name names. And we know that the Sussexes have not, shied away from naming names. Meghan named Rothermere in her winning statement against the Daily Fail. So I do think that it's high time we knew who these people's names were and what they do and why they have so much power and control over Britain's monarchy. Because this is just not how things are meant to be run at all. Because now you can't even say the monarchy is doing what it's meant to do or functioning how it's meant to function if you have vipers in grey suits running things. And even Diana made mention to them in her interview and several times after she left the royal household. Zuri, Harry has said behind the curtain and wanted no part of it for his family. Yeah, it's not a fairy tale. It's a nightmare. All right, that is pretty much all for today, guys and dolls. Margaret, it's been also said that Edward Young, who had Meghan's name removed from Archie's birth certificate, wouldn't surprise me, and I'd love it if he did actually get named. Kim, that's the hammer I'm waiting to drop. Just start naming and shaming because this monarchy is so antiquated compared to other monarchs of today. Indeed. Indeed. All right, Sylvia, I'm going to give you the last word of the day. Thank you so much for stopping by, everyone. Bye, all. Stay safe. Continue to pray for Sussex family and each other. Mrs. S, we're praying for you. Edith, we're praying for you also. Indeed. And please, if anybody's seen Mrs. S or you talk to her, just please give us an update. It's been a while. So I hope she's doing well. All right, everybody, let's dance our way out. Have a fantastic day.
Change my emotions. Johnson.